guys, and welcome back to our channel on this kind of gray and rainy day. Thought it'd be a good time to share how our garden did this year, and I love just keeping track of the amounts that I got and also what it would have cost me if I had bought it in the store. So we're gonna have a fun little comparison here. If you're new here, we have a pretty big garden. It's, let's see, like 3,400 square feet. We do a no-till style gardening, Eden style method. So yeah, that's the kind of garden we're growing in, and part of the garden was new this year where we grew our sweet potatoes, and so I wasn't really sure how that section would go, but we'll get back to that. Also, throughout most of the gardening season, I was pregnant with our son, and so that kind of changed a little bit of how I was gardening. I wasn't able to get out there quite as much, just it being hot and just not being able to get out there every day. I also have a 1.5-year-old and a 7-year-old, so that also influenced how much I was able to garden. We live in South Carolina, and summers can be kind of hot. If you're not out and in the garden by, sun up and getting done by 9, you're probably not getting much done, because even in the evenings, it doesn't start to cool down until long after the sun is set, and I'm usually in bed by that point. So we just kind of had to work around that, and it was fine. So anyway, one nice thing about the back Eden style garden is that you don't have to deal with weeds very much, and you also don't have to water nearly as much. It just kind of keeps the moisture in there and helps your plants grow. We were also gone for 3 weeks on vacation this summer, spread out over 2 trips, and so that also played into here. I was not able to keep on top of some things quite as well because I was gone. Anyway, so here's what we harvested. I'm just kind of looking down at my notebook where I have all the stuff written down. So some of our first things to come out of the garden were like carrots, and we had some cabbage. So we had an amazing carrot year. It was a very cool spring, and they loved it. So we got 12 pounds of carrots. So I'm also gonna share the amount we got and how much it would have cost if I had to buy it. So 12 pounds of carrots, almost 13 pounds of carrots, would have been $11 at the store, and that's just for like regular carrots, not organic carrots or anything like that. Just regular carrots. Mine organic because I did not spray them with anything. We also got our cabbage, so we got 23 cabbages, and that was almost 25 pounds of cabbage, which would have been over $19 if I bought it in the store. It's my first year growing cabbage, and I really enjoyed it, and I think our cool spring had a lot to do with it. I also grew broccoli, but I did not get very much broccoli, but it kept the groundhog, well, let's put it this way, the groundhog liked eating the broccoli, and so it kept him from eating my sweet potatoes, which I cared a little bit more about. So yeah, I didn't get any broccoli, but it was also coming ready to harvest about the time we were about ready to leave on one of our trips, and yeah, so I had to pick it early, and it wasn't as big as it could have been. So anyway, all that, yep. So let's just go down the list here of all the rest of the stuff that I harvested. So corn, we got 80 ears of corn, and that would have been about $34. My corn was looking really nice, and we harvested a few ears to eat, and then I went out the next day, and a coon had gotten into most of them, so I had to harvest them all quick, and we ended up having to buy some corn to put in the freezer because there just wasn't enough between what the coon had gotten and what I was able to do. So I don't even know if I'm going to plant corn next year. I may just buy it because it was easy. Anyway, our blackberries did not do as well as last year. I'm not exactly sure why. Might have been a little too dry. Maybe they just need some fertilizer or something. I don't know. But anyway, we got 289 cups, which is about 17 gallons, which would have been $204. I was able to make a ton of jam with this and sell a bunch, and still have some left for us in the freezer. So that's pretty fun. I was able to harvest blueberries for free, and I got over 5 gallons of that, so that would have been $66 if I'd had to go buy them. Our sweet potatoes did really, really well. I planted them in that new back Eden style garden that I had done, and we got 111 pounds of sweet potatoes. Compared to last year's harvest, this was incredible because I didn't get anything from the year before. And we kept on top of the groundhogs because we were able to see the patch. My husband set up cameras, and we were able to get the groundhogs before they ate my sweet potatoes. Anyway, it was great. We got a huge harvest, so it would have been anywhere from like $60 to $111. $60 would be like if I had bought them at like the flea market or something, where you can buy them in a big box, or $111 in the store. So that was a good crop. I'm actually just right now processing a whole bunch of smaller sweet potatoes, freeze dry them into a powder, and then be able to use them in like pies and stuff, rehydrate them. Anyway, we did onions this year that I started from seed. Red onions, we had 59 of them, which was in 19 pounds, and it would have been $18. White onions, we got 78 of them, which is 6 pounds. They were a lot smaller than the red onions, but the red onions were like that big, most of them. Anyway, that would have been $6 to $7 for the white onions. We grew garlic. We planted it last fall and harvested it in the spring. We had 165 bulbs, 12 pounds of garlic, which would have been $35 worth of garlic. That's if I'd bought it like in a bulk bag at Sam's, basically, I think. No? Maybe not. No? I don't remember where I got my $2.93 a pound average from. Maybe that's a 2-pound bag that you get at Sam's. It could be. Anyway, we got a little bit of lettuce, not very much. A few beets. I grew spaghetti squash, and I got 7 pounds of spaghetti squash out of 4 of them, and it was $9.60. We grew apples this year. Oh, we picked some from our tree. For the first time, we got 1.5 pounds, so that was $1.13. We got a ton of zucchini this year. It was a great year for zucchini. Never grown so many zucchini in my life. It was like planting zucchini in New York, where I'm from, where you could plant like one plant and it would feed my family of 14 all summer long. Like, you didn't have to plant more than one, almost, seemed like. Anyway, I had 9 plants this year, and I got 42 zucchini, 30 pounds of zucchini, which would have cost me $43 if I'd bought it. Beans, we got 90 cups, which would have been about $64. High-nut squash, I got 10 pounds of that. 31 little squashes, which would have been $12.80, maybe-ish. Kind of hard to tell. Honeydew, our melons didn't do crazy good this year, but we got 8 honeydew, which would have been $36. Our cucumbers did really, really well. I didn't pickle any of them. We just kept eating them and tried selling them and gave away a few and some went to the compost, honestly. We got 64 short cucumbers and 80 long cucumbers. That would have been $128 worth of cucumbers, which is a lot. We got 118 pounds of Roma tomatoes, which would have been about $118, and about 29 pounds of just our heirloom varieties. They didn't do nearly as well, but we still got some from them, so that would have been $29. We got a bunch of basil, like several gallons worth of basil from like one plant. I think that's all that grew. Our peppers did amazing. We got 233 jalapenos, which would have been $67 if I bought them. We had a hot cross pepper, and we got 200 of those from like one plant, I'm pretty sure, and that would have been $58 compared like to the price of jalapenos. We got, get this, for sweet peppers, we got 870. I went out to pick after the first frost. Well, my mom and Anna helped mostly. Anyway, we got 400 and something peppers just that day, like 4 bushels of peppers that we harvested, and we could have harvested even more after that. But anyway, that would have been $870 worth of peppers if I had bought them. So we froze a bunch, we ate a bunch, and we freeze dried a whole bunch. We got 130 banana peppers, which would have been $37, and I pickled a bunch of those. We got 10 crimson sweet watermelons for $40, 13 sugar baby watermelon for $52. Our potatoes did not do well at all. I got 90 pounds of potatoes, which would have been $72, but that's out of like 58 pounds of planted potatoes, so really poor. A lot of them rotted. I think it had to do with it was very wet in some of the areas where I planted them because we had the sprinkler going while I was gone, and I think it just was too wet. Anyway, I'm moving back to the spot where they do really well, and I'm not going to rotate them from there because every time I move them, they don't do well. That's my theory anyway. Anyway, our last thing is our ginger harvest. We got 11.5 pounds of ginger, which would have been $46 if I'd bought it, like even at Sam's. So anyway, for a grand total, $2,147.44 produce out of our garden. So I think that is more than last year. Let me see. Let me look back because I do love to keep track of this every year. So last year we got $1,948. So definitely got more, like about almost $200 more. Exactly. So that's pretty incredible. I just love being able to keep track of this and see, was it worth it? And besides, even just like the monetary value, it's, you know, I grew this stuff mostly organically. Like, I didn't put stuff on it. Even this year, like, really didn't put anything on it because I didn't have the energy at the time to put stuff on it. So it's healthier for us, and it's fresh because it's coming right out of our garden and getting preserved right away. So it's pretty great. I love that. And just being able to get out in the sunshine, it definitely makes me want to go outside and work in the garden because, you know, it's there. It needs to be taken care of. So this is not counting the many strawberries that my 18-month-old would sneak out of the garden all the time. She'd be always looking for berries, or many handfuls of blackberries she ate because she loved them, and was very sad when they stopped producing. So she'll be very glad when they start producing again next year.
My gourds grew so much. It was like, right out of the garden, and then
Okay.
all over the sweet potatoes. We've gotten at least 7.
Well, how many more do you think is in there?
Maybe, my guess is 30.
30. I think there's at least probably 50 or 60 in this random one gourd plant. We haven't harvested them all yet. Anyway, what else did you grow?
Sunflowers. Tried growing wheat, but that didn't do so well.
Well, we haven't finished it yet. What about your shallots?
My shallots were really hiding.
They're hiding, but you can tell about how many you got.
I got like more like
20?
Yeah.
Maybe 20? What else did you grow? Anything?
Sunflowers.
Flowers.
Flowers.
That's pretty much it.
I got zinnias. I also grew tomatoes.
So, how did your garden do? Did you get a good harvest? Was it easy to grow? What kind of gardening do you do? Let me know down in the comments, and I'd love to know all about that. So, that's it for this video. We'll see you next time. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and we'll see you next time.